Sounds good, right? So we were just talking about these object now, right? How we stored our object in the S3 bucket, right? And how, we managed to make them public, right? And you can see we can access them from anywhere, we can put data from anywhere, right? And we can make them public, we can, select them, change them, and change their permission here directly using this action tab, right? So you have couple of things to do from here, right? Now we're going to talk about the permission sections also. I mean property sections also. What is this property section all about, right? So these are pretty essential. Remember this also, right? You can also host your static website in the S3 bucket, so you have to remember it. Also, sometime you will see, nowadays you must be hearing about the serverless class, right? I mean serverless architecture. So S3 Lambda, these are the, most basically used, you can say, component of the AWS for, serverless architecture. So the first property I am going to talk about is a versioning. So I believe everybody knows about versioning, right? What is versioning and what is version control? No answer. So the version, this is similar like we used to do in Git, right? Versioning means what happens in the versioning, right? Whenever you make any changes and modification of your file, there will be a versioning of this file. In case if you want to roll that back, you can do it, right? Go ahead on the versioning. If you want to enable this versioning, right, go ahead and enable it. So what will happen, any time you make any changes to your object in the S3 bucket, there will be versioning of that. And if you need some time to recover it, you can do that, right? By mistake modification, right? Anything happening there, this will help you to recover your object in the S3 bucket, because everything we storing in the S3 bucket, this is called object, right? The next is a server access logging, right? It says set up access log record that provides detail about the access request. So whatever the request you are getting, if you want to enable, the logging for those, go ahead and select here, choose your bucket where you wants to keep that, right? What is the name of the target you wants to give? I will call it Shekhar. I will call it access underscore logs and save it. Right, so we have done so far. The first we have done is we have enabled the versioning. The second we have done is server access logging. In case if you want to see, right, what is happening, like if the requests are coming, from where access are coming, so you can save those in those logs also here. The next is static website, right? If you want to host any static website, right, which does not require server-side technology, you can go ahead and use it. And most of the website you will keep it by default. If you see, by default the disable website hosting, you can use redirect. You can create the redirect rule, or you can use these endpoints here and enable your static website here, right? So at this moment we already have an index.html page there, right? If you have error pages there, if you have uploaded those, you can also put them here, right? So you can save it. You can enable the errors as well as you could see there, right? You could right, you can also create the redirect request here if you want. The request is coming to this and redirect to this, so you have so many options there, right? Target of the domain, what is the target of the domain and which protocol you want to transfer to it, right? So you have couple of things available here also. So if you want to host any static website, go ahead and do it. Use the index.html, whatever the document you are putting here. If you have some error document also, keep it here, error.html, right? And go ahead and save it. So the next is, we can say object lock. If you want to enable object lock, right, if you want to lock that object anyway, right, object lock can be enabled only when the bucket is created. Okay, so this is not helping us. So while we were creating that, right, then only we can enable this at this moment. So the next is tag. If you want to give some tag to it, you can give it. The next is transfer acceleration, which is of like somehow which is for some useful, right? It says use a new accelerated endpoint for a faster data transfer, which will incur an additional fee. If you want to use this will give you some, you can say, high cost, some charges, but if you want a high speed acceleration, you can use it, right? So if you enable that, it may be like, they will store your data in some nearest endpoints from wherever the clients are trying to access your bucket, right? So this way, your data will be in the nearest endpoint, and you're gonna get some, you can say, some speed acceleration while accessing your targets there, but it will have some additional cost. So I'm not enabling this at this moment. The next is event, right? If you want to enable some event, let's say something is happening, some issues are coming, and something triggered in your bucket, right? If somebody is coming, copying, pasting in something, you can create the rules. Say, let's say somebody is copying, somebody is pasting here from your, you can put the name here, right? And you can put prefix here, images for suffix, right? Where to send the notifications. We can send the notifications also, right? So if you want this, like, and if anything is happening in changes, modification, anything in this bucket, you can go ahead and enable those events here. The next is requester pays. It is the requester, instead of the bucket owner, will pay for the request and send data transfer. So if this enabled, right? So this will, like, this says the who is the requester will have to pay, right, instead of the owner of the data transfer. So let's go back again here in the overview section, right? You could see a couple of things have been enabled here. What we call it, let's say the versioning has been enabled, right? The static hosting has been enabled, right? So that you could directly access those pages. We have already seen how to access it, but this page is again a static page which we have mapped also, right? We have enabled the static web hosting for this page also. So this is also applicable here now. So next, once we move to the permission section here, right? If you see the permission section, the first says access object owner, right? Access to other AWS credit accounts, right? And a public access. How you want to manage your access? So the first one says access to the owner. The owner, what access he wants to give in the bucket. Once you click it, you can see read, write, and everything permission is there at this moment, right? If you want to make changes, you can do it. And if you want to add some another owner here, right? So you can add some canonical IDs, email IDs of those, so that they can specify the permission for those also, right? We were seeing when we was talking in the property section, we was talking about other will pay, right? So this, I think this will help. Where is the tag? Okay, we'll see that later, right? So we were seeing there, right, some bucket, right? The requester will pay. So I think this would help here, right? The next is public access, where you can see if you want everybody to have access, read access to the object, you can do it. If you want to make additional things, or if you want to remove that access, you can do it also from here, right? We'll go back to property again, right? The first, we was talking about storage class, right? When we created and we uploaded one object, right? We was talking about storage class at that moment also, right? So if in future, if you need to change your storage class, so you can go ahead and do the things from here, right? Remember this. Next, we're gonna move to the select from. The select from, With S3 select, you can extract records from single CSV JSON file using SQL permission. S3 select support zip, this compressed file and server-side encryption file. You can use the console to extract 40 MB of record from the console file up to 128 MB to work with the larger file or for more records and API. So I think this is like for extracting your file and data format. So I think we don't need it. You can like download it in the compress it in the GZIP format, VG format, and download those things from here. I wanted to show a couple of more things. Yep, I think it would come now. Let me go back again here. Let me go to management section now. Right, so this is also, you can say this management section is pretty essential thing, right? The first tab you see here, which is called the lifecycle rule, right? This is what we was talking about when I took you to property and storage class. I wanted to discuss about the lifecycle rules, right? You can write here the lifecycle rules. Let's say what it should be, how it should be, right? So see here, rules for archiving old object. It says what rules, enter the rule name. Let's say I will call it archive. I will copy, let's copy it ACHI now, right? Which I'm calling for the archivals, right? The next is choose a rule scope, limit scope to specific prefix or tag, apply objects to all bucket, right? If you want to put it to all the bucket, so that's up to you. If you want to put for some specific tags and bucket, or if you want to put all the objects, so that's up to you how you want to do that. If you are applying it for some bucket and tags, so you'll have to assign the tags here, right? So let's do it for all the objects in the bucket and click on next, right? So it says स्टोरेज क्लास ट्रांजिशन, राइट? ट्रांजिशन मीन्स आपने जहाँ पर भी अभी डेटा रखा है, अब वहाँ से डेटा उठ आपका किसी दूसरी क्लास पे जाना है, राइट? आपके स्टोरेज की क्लास चेंज होनी है, तो आपको क्या करना है? आपको करंट वर्जन रखना है, प्रीवियस वर्जन रखना है, राइट? तो एज इफ यू सी दैट एज पर द प्री रिक्वेस्ट फी when using lifecycle to transition data to S3 or S3 Glacier storage class, right? There will be a request fee for this. So let's say you call it, I will call current as well as previous version, or let's keep the previous version only. Let's not call the current version because it will otherwise overwritten everything. It will like add everything to there, even the current version there. बट अगेन दैट डिपेंड्स ऑन योर रिक्वायरमेंट. लेट्स से अगर आपको एक ही दिन में आपको मूव करना होता है अपना डेटा, देन दैट्स फाइन. फॉर करंट वर्जन ऑब्जेक्ट्स क्या आप ट्रांजिशन रूल ऐड करोगे? फॉर प्रीवियस वर्जन व्हाट ट्रांजिशन रूल्स यू विल ऐड? लेट्स से आई विल डू फॉर द प्रीवियस वर्जन ओनली एट दिस मोमेंट, ऐड ट्रांजिशन, राइट? यू कैन डिफाइन हियर आप कौन सी स्टोरेज क्लास पे अपना डेटा लेके जाओगे. Right, here are some classes. You can see I am not able to drag this up, man. Let me make this size bit less here, right? So you can see all the storage classes are here, right, which are from costly to cheaper. So let's say transition to Glacier after you say, and after you say, let's say 7 days, right? Or let's say that we call it after 7 days. Let's say we are saying after previous version, after 7 days let's move it to the cheaper storage. This says transaction small object to Glacier deep archive will increase cost. I say okay, that's fine. Go ahead and click on next, right? It says again configure expiration, right? Clean up expire object, delete markers and incomplete multiple uploads, right? So let's say I will do it for the previous version also, and say I will call it after 30 days, right? Clean up those, right? Clean up expire object, delete markers, clean up incomplete multiple uploads if you want, right? Let's say I'll apply it for the expire object and delete markers there also. So that's up to you how you wanna do that. If cleanup incomplete multiple uploads also you wanna do that, go ahead and do it. Let's say let's put it after the 30 days also, and next, right? So what will happen is the rule you have defined here. So after you change it, after your data has been changed, it will move after 7 days, it will move to the some cheaper storage, and after 30 days it would be permanently deleted, right? Or you can select as per the organization standard or requirements. Go ahead and save it. Right now you can see the rules has been created successfully. Further, if you need any modification to rule, you can go ahead and edit the rule, right, and change it accordingly how you want. Right, in the same way, next we see some replication section here, right? If you want to have some replication, cross region replication, right, whenever you put your data in your bucket, it is replicated across the multiple region. Either you want to keep it in the same region, you can do it. It says first is cross region replication, same region replication, right? So if you need this also, you can go ahead and click on get started, enter your bucket. This is your bucket, right? And if you want entire bucket and some some specific things from bucket, so go ahead and select the entire bucket. And if you have some specific object you want to replicate, type the prefix if you have there and replicate it. If you want the entire bucket, replicate the entire bucket, right? This is your bucket. Alright, and go ahead and click on next. Right, you have no buckets, right? You'll have to choose bucket in another account, bucket in the another account, sorry, bucket in this account, bucket in the another account. If this is in the same account, select that account bucket here. If another account, select this account, give the account ID, bucket name, and save it. Right, so come down, change object ownership to destination bucket owner. If you want, replicate time control settings, right? So you can select this also, right, which will say S3 replication time control. That says replication time control replicates 99% of your new objects within 15 minutes. So whenever you put something in your bucket, after 15 minutes, within 15 minutes, it will be replicated to the data in the another bucket. You can try doing it, and if you're stuck somewhere, then you can take help from me. Right, in the same way, after replication we have some analytics here. If you want to configure some analytics to storage class analysis, if you want to add, then go ahead and you can add the analytics here. You must have heard about the Splunk like tools, right, which can help you to analyze your data, export your data, create graphs. You can do it from here, from the analytics. In the same way, you have a metrics. From here you can get the matrices of your data. If you want metrics, graphs, you can go ahead and add those here. We have very less data, will not be able to do anything with this data at this moment. We have the inventory section, right? You can receive file of your object inventory on daily or weekly basis of the entire bucket or a suffix prefix. So you can also create the inventory for that and download in the format of CSV, Apache, Paraquat, and something like that. And so how you can manage your bucket here, inventory section. In the same way, we have some access points here. Alright, you can also create some access point here also, like if you are using your SDK and something. So moreover, our focus would be on how you can put your objects, how you can how you can host your static website in the S3 bucket, right? How you can enable the properties, right? These versioning, subclass, and the static hosting. With this, maintaining it, managing permissions is very critical section of this, right? The bucket public access control list, bucket policies, if you want to do so, you have to go through these things also, like how, if you want to make it public, that's fine, go ahead and click on this, right? You can also enable the public access control list here, right, that we have already talked about. You can go ahead and create some policies also. You are not familiar with IAM, so that's what I cannot explain it more. We'll talk about IAM, then you'll be familiar with these policies, right? You can also configure the chorus configuration editor here, right? So this is kind of you can say policies you can apply to your bucket. Okay, so when we talk about versioning and everything, right, so whenever you make any changes, right, you update anything here, let's say even if you are making any changes to where is that index.html file? Have I moved it? Okay, this is the page here. Let me drag and put it here. Right, so whenever you do this, you make some changes to it. How this goes up. Okay, so I'll pull it and we'll keep it again in the bucket. Oh, no. So let's not do next and do it upload. Right, now you can see though this file has been updated, right, without telling anything, and I can see the two files only, right, but there will be a version of this file which would be available for us, right, if in case of if you need something to recover it, and if you move it to the older version, so those things will be available for us in this class. So let me select it, and change tag. Let's see, what does this select from? Okay, so now here was the versions, right? So you can see the two versions here available for you, right? So this is the latest version, this is the previous version, right, which is already available for you. You can go ahead and see what is in which version, and if you need any time, so you can see when the changes were made to it. If you need some changes, you can do it. Right, so let's go ahead and delete this one, let's say. So still this version is available here. Let me see how we can roll it back. So you can see the previous version has automatically rolled back here. Right, so this is how the version control can help you. This is how you can change the storage class of your object directly from this specific place also, right? Just select your objects, right? Select here, change storage class, encryption class, whatever you want, so you can do it from here, right? So this can help you to save more cost, and this practice can help you to like cracking the interviews also. Most there might be more questions would be asked from S3 bucket itself, right? Now when we have created this S3 bucket, right, we have endpoint. Now we are able to access our page. So how we are going to access this, right? How we going to use now Route 53 to expose this page now, right? That's the purpose of telling Route 53 that time was this only. So let's go ahead here. And navigate to Route 53 quickly. Right, I have already explained what is Route 53. This is basically, you can say, domain naming service of Amazon AWS, right, which can help you to host existing domain, as well as you can buy the domains from here, which can help you to in translating your domain names, right? So let's go to DNS management section, create one hosted zone quickly. Create one hosted zone. My domain name is scienhub.co. I'm not going to create any comment, so go ahead and create this here. I will quickly go to godaddy.com to map my domain, my Route 53 records to my godaddy.com, so that I could use that. Godaddy login. Okay, so you can see the records has been successfully created. Right, okay, we'll sign in here. Right, so auto renew validation billing details. What happened to this? Okay, we'll manage it. So we are in the manage domain section now. So let's go ahead and remove couple of rules and add ours. This is NS record. This is also the AWS record. Okay. These are the record I think we added last time. So, but these are more, man. Okay, so I have deleted most of the rules now, so let me remove this last one too, right? So now I will add my NS domain from AWS here. We'll select name server, or I think we should get NS2 here. Okay, that's fine. It's name server. Go here and get this value from here. Right. Also you can copy them from here. Let me Control C and put them here itself. Right, and select them one by one. The host would be @ and we are going to point it to this. Go ahead and save it. Add another rule here. Right. Select another NS rule, @ and you're gonna point it to this endpoint. Do the same here. Name server. This is the this is your host. This is your endpoint, and save it. I think we have the last record now. Copy it. Add NS host point, and you're all done now. Right, so these records may take some time in reflecting, so you can see now those has been added here, right? So you can refresh it. So let's create one test record here now. So why we are using Route 53, right? We could have directly mapped my S3 bucket to the S3, I mean GoDaddy.com, but why we are using it? We are using it to reduce some latency, right? So that we do not have to redirect our services to the GoDaddy.com for everything, so which can save some of our time here. So that's what we have created a hosted zone here, which can help us to reduce some latency, and which can give us, you can say, some good performance as well. So I'll go ahead and create one test record. I've shown you last time with the load balancer also, right? So this time I'm not going to create with the load balancer. Let's go back to the dashboard. Let's go here, hosted zone. Select your domain name. It says task create record set, right? Give it a name. Let's say I'm gonna give it a Shaker name, let's say, right? GKHAR, right? IPv4 CNAME or whatever it is. Let's say IPv4. Is it alias? Select your target name here. So you'll have to select your target name here. Oh my god, I think I did one mistake there. Right, what I did is, whatever the name of the bucket I should give, that should be by the same, the name should be here with this additional domain name. That's what it is not coming here. But if I give any name here, so you won't be able to see it now. In the S3 section, right? So remember this. So which I missed it, sorry for this. So I'll have to create another bucket here. Also remember, you can create maximum 100 bucket in AWS account, but if you want to extend it, so you'll have to request to the Amazon, right? Then they can give you around 100 buckets, right? They can give you the limit of 100 bucket per region. So I will call it Shaker, SHEKHR.SignHub.co. I'll create in the Mumbai specific region. I will say allow publicly. I want it publicly, so acknowledge it, create the bucket. Right, so we'll go ahead quickly, and upload my index.html, let's say, for accessing this here. So let's get upload here. I will make it public. I will go ahead and go to action. You can mark it as a public, and you can go to the property section, sorry, management section. Okay, let's go to management section once quickly. It seems something is going very slow. So let's go to static website here. Okay, click here, right? You can say use this bucket to host a website, so I'll call it index.html here. Go ahead and save it. Alright, so go back to your bucket again and open this and get this endpoint and see if this works fine. So this says permission denied at this moment, so let's make it public now and see if this is accessible now. So you can see the site is accessible, right? So now I'll jump on into the Route 53 again, right? So we'll refresh this. So we'll go to my domain name, create record set, right? I'll give it a name here, let's say shaker.science.com. So as soon as you give it and you click on aliases and click on the targeted, right, the bucket will come inside here, right? You can come down and see what kind of route based policies you were looking for. Let's go for a simple at this moment. Click on create, right? So now you do not need to go ahead and put this CNAME in the GoDaddy, right? That's already there for you now. So just go ahead and see if this endpoint works for you. You can also go to DNS Watch info to verify it, shaker.signup.co, and try to see if something is getting resolved. I think still that has not been mapped. Let's see if this works with the NS record. No record found. Still it doesn't found these records here. Okay, the record has been found here, but maybe old. Here 479.59.com. Okay, the records are there, but still I'm not sure why our records has not been still not resolving. So let me see here, shaker.signup.com. Okay, so it might take some time in updating. So meanwhile, what I'm doing is I'm quickly adding this endpoint also, right? Whatever the endpoint I have selected here, or I can directly go to my bucket here and I can choose this endpoint and redirect it to there. So let's take it from here itself, target alias, and create one C record here. C name, we call it Shaker, and I want to point it to this, right? So save it. Now see, if we have added it to the GoDaddy directly, so it should start resolving now quickly. So you can see this has been quickly updated here because we have added it to GoDaddy. So it was coming from AWS, so hopefully soon it will start capturing that too. Why? Okay, I think the endpoint is wrong for me. I'll have to give the complete endpoint, maybe this path here. Seems it should not be. Just try with this. Okay, it should not work. Though this record set should work, it will take some time, so I'll have to wait for that. Shaker.sign.com.